what's the word for it? It was raffle.
Yeah.
We had a raffle, and you won the leather pants.
I won the leather pants.
He's wearing the leather pants. Oh my God.
I'm actually going to leave with that. So the Subverted Fairy Project. First, I do want to say thank you very much to Bosso. If you haven't been camping with these people, they are amazing. And you will stay up until 3 in the morning and be less hungover than you should be, which is nice. But it was a fantastic time. And so I'd like to say, again, thank you to Bosso, and also thank you to Venus to Mars for the pants. They're huge, I think. They're the first night I've worn them. And if you've never worn leather pants before, I want you to understand it's not like you wear leather pants. It's sort of you carry them about you with your legs and ass. One of the problems is I don't have an ass. So, as I'm walking, I find I'm doing this hip sway thing. And it's the only way I keep the fuckers up. And oh, right, eh? Like putting leather in washing machines. Okay.
Where the hell did you get that belt? I want that belt.
Menards.
Wear it until they dry.
And then I'll suck up on my lack of an ass. All right.
That's actually what the gentleman did in Jane Austen's book.
Ah.
Those were like chamois leather riding breeches they were wearing.
So big man.
That sounds a lot sexier than what I'm doing.
I'd like it to be so
I mean, they had syphilis and shit, though, right? Like, so the Subverted Fairy Project is a project which brings artists and writers together around colloquial language. Currently, we're working off of Robert McFarlane's book, Landscapes, which was a fantastic effort that he put forth to collect language from rural areas of Ireland and Scotland and Wales and England. And these words are words that are being lost. They're words about nature, they're words about fishing, they're words about sort of a rural lifestyle that obviously is being kind of written out of the English language. And so he thought it would be nice to capture those words. And when I read those words, I had just come from this event in northeast Minneapolis at the Jackson Flats where they had fairies everywhere. And it was just striking to me that everyone's idea of fairies at this event, which had hundreds of people at it, was skinny white girls with wings. And I have nothing against skinny white girls with wings. They're fantastic. However, they shouldn't all be skinny white girls with wings in my mind. And I also thought, like, there's all of this great rich mythology that goes into fairies. There's an immense amount of value to that. And there's an immense amount of value to thinking about fairies in popular culture outside of skinny white girls with butterfly wings. And so what happened is I was reading Robert McFarlane's Landscapes was the idea of these words as complete connections with nature, these visceral words. What if you gave these words to artists and had them draw fairies? And once I had kind of gone through that process, I thought, well, what if those fairies were brought to life further by writing? Nothing I'm doing is particularly original, but it is an interesting idea of taking all of these elements and bringing them together intersectionally, and that's what we have here with the Subverted Fairy Project, which has been an amazing experience. It's been a journey that started around October of last year and has yielded unbelievable results in my opinion. So I appreciate Bosso giving us the opportunity to come up for the first time. This is our first public appearance in any way, and Conrad and I are going to read what we have written about words that were drawn by artists. And these are fairies. So the name of the fairy is the word, and then you'll see the fairy, not in an illustrative way, but rather in the artist's interpretation of the word. And then you will hear the fairy's story from the writer's point of view. And so the first fairy, oh, and I brought Vanna fucking White. Woo! Look at her! She's gorgeous still! Oh,
You got the name wrong. Vanna Brown.
The beauty of having Vanna White in your retinue, which we do because the Subverted Fairy Project is quite famous, is he's going to show folks this, which is Van Thong, who is sitting right next to Vanna White. This is her work. It's called Ramper, and it means a raised pathway above a rocky or murky ground. And so Shao will be showing you this
I'll do my Sally Field impression.
Please do.
It's a monoprint, right?
It's a monoprint. Yes, this is a monoprint. Yes, thank you. Which we did. Thanks very much to Christina Maria. She let us use the facilities at the Stillwater High School to do these monoprints, and so she's really a great fun thing. Also, I need an iPad to do this. I forgot.
Let's try. Melissa, Norma.
That looks like the
Great job, Vanna Brown. He's trained for years for this day.
After the 15th plastic surgery, Ramper, raised pathway through muddy ground, Fenland, imaged by Van Thong. Sparkling for your horses, I bend into a shape only imagined by young children on the verge of sleep, alone in a bed that their arms should never hang from. I am the path of the bed. If you stray from me, let just one limb, one hoof of your horse fall outside of my bounds. You will be pulled in, pulled down, pulled apart, made into the muck, consumed by slithering, sensual fingers tipped with the barbs of your fears. The rocks beneath your horse's hooves are the oak bed frame, the sturdy underpinnings of your fragile trust, your fragile beliefs, your fragile hearts. Ride like the wind, fear nothing. I am above the muck, above the fear, above the dreams of wicked children like you. Okay, so we'd originally supposed to have 3 readers, but 1 bailed, so I'm going to do 1 more, and then we'll bring Conrad up. The next one. The next one is by E.J. Thompson, who's running the camera tonight. Yay! Also a monoprint. Done the same day as Ramper. Actually, that was a really good day. We killed that day. And
Oh, good. Vanna Brown. It's upside down. There you go. There you go. There you go.
I'm orientationally challenged.
It's okay. It's not your fault.
all right, so this is Karag. Oh yeah, sorry. And this is rugged rock with stones jutting from it. I actually wrote it that way. It is, actually.
Welcome to International House of Dildos.
He has fractures that crawl along the surface of his stone feathers. The rain trickles into them, tiny rivers finding their way into all his secret places, washing out the grime of bird feces, cleaning mottled crevices filled with decay and lichens. He steps into the storm's wind, the weight of his plump body thundering like the sky. He is hard and slick and dense, like love that won't go away. He is ready to fly with those waterlogged wings made of all the wrong things. But instead he walks on them, upside down, punching, glistening, in lightning flashes, carving the grass where he walks, leaving gashes that he hopes some stranger will read. Tomorrow, in the blue skied light, an inevitable stranger will sit on his back, marveling at the intricate geology of his folded stone wings. The words of his body have always been more interesting to strangers than the words of his feet.
God damn.
All right. With that, I'm going to bring up Conrad Zero, and I'll take over the Vanna White duties. I'm wearing a better shirt for it. This chest part, the Vanna White part.
You gotta nip out to be Vanna White.
All right, and here's Conrad Zero.
So I didn't really want to do this, but Michael and I did time together. I owe him some favors.
Cigarettes mostly.
So this first word is glibid, G-L-I-B-B-E-I-D, glibid, a mixture of sleet, hail, and rain. It is Gaelic. And so I wrote a story about it. That word inspired that drawing that the new improved Vanna White is showing, and Christina Maria actually did this drawing based off the word. Over the sound of the storm, I heard a whoosh of feathers. A fluff of white landed beside me. It was Tawny, a barn owl from a nearby farm. "Evening, Slushy," Tawny said, fluttering wet snow from her wings. Once settled, she looked at me. The mushroom I stood on put us eye to eye. Tawny's eyes were like two pitch-black beads of glass on a white feather pillow. "Hi, Tawny. I was wondering when you'd show up." I turned my focus back to the ridge where two campers scrambled to dismantle the campsite they'd only just finished assembling. A portly man rushed around the tent, pulling up metal stakes with one hand. His other hand, he held a wide-brimmed hat on his head that threatened to fly off in the wind. A tall, thin woman jammed sleeping bags into the back of a green Jeep, her blonde hair turning white as the wet snow plastered against it. "Hell of a storm there, Slushy. Blown clear to Glasgow, eh?" I watched Tawny out of the corner of my eye. Not that I was worried. Barn owls never ate fair folk, as far as I knew, anyway. "We're not supposed to meddle, you know." I shrugged. "Does it look like I'm meddling?" The storm escalated, tiny pellets of hail now mixing with the sleet and the rain. A sheet of white began to build up on the windward side of the orange tent. Ticking noises echoed off the Jeep as the tiny pieces of ice pinged off the metal and the glass. "Well, at least pick one," Tawny said. "Come again?" "I can understand hail or sleet or rain and hail or even sleet and hail if you want to be a real wanker. But all three, that's too much." I grunted but maintained my focus. The man had given up on folding the tent. Instead, he carried the soggy orange bundle to the Jeep, jamming it in there with everything else. The blonde woman stuffed bottles and cans into a backpack near a formerly blazing campfire, but was now reduced to a faint smolder. "We're just supposed to watch, Slushy." "I am watching." From the corner of my eye, I saw Tawny smile. It was odd for an owl, and looked kind of frightening until you get used to it. "I suppose you done them a favor, Slushy. Who knows what would have happened if they'd have ventured much further up the coastline." I knew what would happen. We both did. The Jeep roared to life, headlights blazing twin beams into the slashing storm. The campers would be cold, wet, and miserable on the 4-hour drive back to town. They might even think that their vacation along the coast was ruined by a freak storm of hail and sleet and rain. But they would be alive. We all would. So what was really fun about this project is the speed at which I write novels too, or try to write novels, and it's a long, arduous process versus this that's like really fast and hectic and wonderful. And then I finished these stories that you're hearing and several others. I wrote very quickly over a short period of time, put them away, and it was fun to pull them back out and read them and go, "I wrote this." I think I remember writing it. So this next one is based off the word ceased, C-I-S-T-E, burial chamber, or coffin made out of stone or hollow tree. The artist is Jessica Walsh. She's not here right now, but you'll see the picture of the hollow tree as it goes around. I wrote this from the perspective of the tree.
No pants.
You have returned, as I knew you would, dragging yourself through the forest to my secret place. You stand before me, your hands dripping blood, your eyes dripping tears. I can smell the sweet stench of guilt wafting from you. You pause, your hands clenched into fists, and look of rained resolve, as if you might deny me, as if you know my secret, as if you might run away, but you won't. To you, I am just a hollow tree, leafless and bark stripped bare, branches broken, gnarled roots exposed, and all the rough edges rounded off, worn down like I'd spent a lifetime ravaged by giant sea waves. I am a giant piece of driftwood standing upright in the middle of the forest, a dead thing stabbed deep into the center of life itself. You approach the gaping hole in my trunk, the hollow place inside me that calls to you when the wind blows, the place that reeks of rot and sour decay, but that won't stop you. You seek penitence, forgiveness, relief from the voices in your head screaming about the wrongdoing. I can quiet them for you. You climb inside, as I knew you would. You curl yourself into a ball and cry and shiver and mumble to yourself as you rock back and forth, begging for an end to the pain. Gently, my maw closes down until you are enclosed, cut off from the entire world. You are my center now. Sleep, my child. Sleep the sleep of the dead, buried alive inside of me. As you slip away into a dark and dreamless sleep, my tendrils reach out. They slither across your flesh. They wrap lovingly around you and hold you tight. They wriggle and slip their way into your own hollow places. They push and penetrate, seeking the center of the center. And then I drink, I draw out the guilt, I suck out all that sorrow, poisonous to you, but manna to me. Sleep, my child, sleep, and I will take away your suffering, all of it. In its place, I will fill you with ideas, desires, cravings, and when you wake, you will be renewed, restored. Your conscience will be wiped clean and your actions absolved. You will be righteous and justified. You will leave here with a new resolve and a mind full of irresistible urges. You will go out into the world and accomplish things tenfold more horrific than before. And when the guilt returns tenfold with that shameful choir in your head screams for justice, I will be here for you, waiting, hungry. You have so much left to give.
These two cards, so if anyone would like to follow us on all the social medias, we have websites, all the things, it's right there. Thank you.
It sounds to me as if you're having prompts too. So if you can talk to people about that, that would be really great. And I have to say, I've known both of you actually separately for a while, which and
We did
it's so
time
weird.
together.
It all converged. Yes. Oh, and Conrad and Christina met here at Dusty's.
At this table.
At this table. And yes, how many years have you been married?
Well, we met in 96.
They met in 96. We'll just
Do the
the general math from there. So that's pretty cool. So yay! You know, and everything kind of loops back on itself. So the other weird thing is this Robert McFarlane thing, which
we talked about that at the campsite. Yeah.
right, but I haven't told these guys
Yeah.
yet. So I didn't know